What the heck is it going to take for them to stop delivering all this junk mail?
Pouncy house. We pounce and then we bounce.
Mom, did you say flush on number 1 or 2?
Ollie, I explained this before. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Mom, I'm going for a hike. I'm gonna talk to the trees. At least they don't talk back.
We pounce and then we bounce. Hi, Facebook. Pouncy here. Quickly, I just want to kind of have a little conversation about something I overheard today on the television. I watch a lot of informative videos, and a lot of times I watch like the news that is like casted throughout the world, and I'm not really sure, I'm sorry I don't know this, but I'm not sure, different parts of I don't know if it was Madrid, but there's certain parts of the world that Tomorrowland, the play I assume was playing, and then there's been a lot of like weird stuff going on in regards to that play. I don't really know, to be quite honest, so I'm not going to try to act like I really know, but the whole idea of this is involved in that YouTube video. They were speaking about how adolescents now, when they're born, they don't want to call a gender, whether you're male or female. They want to just call it neutral. So, I will continue to say this is my opinion. That's it. But I think my opinion's valid, just as much as everyone else's opinion out there is valid. I think it is absolutely moronic to take away the titles of male, female. It's let me explain why from my perspective. When I do healing work, I work with ascending beings, okay? Those ascending beings, the first thing I ask is, are they male or are they female? Because that helps me connect. The one specific being that I work with, I always say, the new ascending being that's coming in to help with someone's liver or anxiety or whatever it might be. If I have to find a new one, I'll say, are they male or female? And they'll tell me. No issue with an ascending being, which is basically a being that's a little bit more advanced than a human being. However, they have these wonderful powers that they're able to come in and shamanically help me with my healing work. So I'm not going to get into explaining that. But I want you to understand, what I want you to understand is my perspective, is that I think we're pushing the envelope a little bit too much on Earth. Getting into, okay, if a child's born and the child thinks or feels that they're in the wrong body, then it's the parents' prerogative, which I think they should go with the flow in that circumstance, because it is a spirit that enters into a body. So if it's incarnating into a body, it might just incarnate into the wrong body. That's called just something went wrong. It's an accident. So you have to roll with it, because accidents happen every day. We obviously see it in manufacturing, where you say, this isn't the cheese I wanted. I made the mistake and packaged the wrong cheese. Whatever it might be. I mean, we've all been down that road where we're like, oh, that's a mistake in production. Well, it could happen in the production of a human being. It's a soul, a spirit that goes into the body. This is not religious, so let's not start getting crazy and start saying, oh, God, and he would not do that and all this stuff. Let's just get realistic. This spirit enters the body of whether it's an animal, an insect, a tree. Everything has, well, a tree, I don't know if a tree has a spirit, but I know a tree is a live being, so maybe it does have a spirit. I don't know. I haven't delved into all that. I'll get back to you on that one, but I do know that humans and obviously animals have spirits. Goes into the body, a lion, a monkey, a bear, probably not going to look down at their genitals and be like, oh, what the fuck? They're probably, I don't think so. I think they're just go with the flow. So, it's a little exhausting to have, because I'm trying to get the point across in a very neutral way, so I'm not going to be attacked. What I'm trying to say is this. if you have a child that's born and your child is unfortunately says, mommy or daddy, I'm supposed to be a female and I'm in a male's body, just honor it. Well, okay, okay, and you ask them why, and they have good reasons to believe this. It's real. No reason to deny it, no reason to get upset about it, just like as if you had a child that had Down syndrome. You accept it. It's part of the package, it's part of it's part of maybe the lessons to learn in life. Who knows what the reason is? You just have to consider it a blessing and move forward. Should be no thought process of like, oh, this is a catastrophe. And someone will say, well, that's easier said than done. Well, I don't know. I think it's all about your mentality and your growth and your evolution, blah, blah. So let's get into, because I don't want to go over on my minutes, because this phone shuts off for some reason if I go past a certain amount of minutes. So that's what I believe, because I believe that we are too much involved in this gender neutral. I don't know. It's just. I don't know. I don't understand why we have to get away from saying male and female. If a woman says I'm Chinese or I'm Spanish, or a man says I'm Spanish or I'm, African or Tibetan or whatever it might be, that should be okay too. I'm going to do another Pouncy House video on the word black because I don't like that. I do not like that. I have no idea why we say black and white. Makes no sense to me. It's the most idiotic, stupid thing that people say. And I say it too. So I guess I'm calling myself the same thing. I just look at it and say, wow, we have been so programmed to say these things to each other. And we carry those titles. But that's not about that right now. I don't, we'll get into that one later. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a video on that. But right now we're talking about the gender stuff and how kids today are becoming like, and what I noticed is like the movie Tomorrowland came out and that was pretty damn cool. I didn't see it yet, but I do know I saw the preview. And I think they're all subliminal messages because what they say is in Tomorrowland you can have whatever you want and you can create the world that you want. When in essence on this planet, we can, as human beings, doesn't matter what your gender is, create, as human beings, you can create a beautiful earth and a beautiful world. And that's called effort. You put effort in. You stop being complacent and you be conscious and aware. And we do not title each other like, oh, you have to be male if you're not male. And you have to be female because you carry the genitals. It's like, no, that means that I just entered the wrong body. And you just, maturity, you understand that that's just the way it is. And maybe they want to change their body and that's their prerogative. Their life, their spirit. You have to honor it. So that's my opinion. I think kids today are looking for something more, including maybe people in my age range. Usually people who are older than me usually are set in their ways and they're like, this is the way it has to be, and they don't really see far past that or beyond that if you speak about spiritual stuff. I'm not saying everyone's out there like that, so don't attack me, anybody who's 50 and above. I'm just making a point that usually it's the younger kids that are kind of looking at alternative things. They could be indigo children, and they're looking at, well, why is life like this? I don't like life like this. I think there's more to life. And they're searching for something within themselves that they are smelling, feeling, and tasting, but they don't know how to find it. And I think what they're looking for is kind of what my brother talks about, which is popology, is internally what they can offer the planet. What can they offer to the planet? And there has to be something more to life. That's what they're trying to find out. And that is beautiful. And I think they're trying to prove that by talking about genders, is saying we don't want to be put into categories. We don't want to be, what's the word? They don't want to be titled. They don't want to be, and I think this is coming from governmental stuff that's going on and your social security number and stamp of approval and stuff. I think the evolution of the human being is starting to realize that they don't want to be tied down. They know that there's something more and they just don't know what it is. And that's going to come in like some of my other videos to explain that. But I do think that there was some fires and stuff with Tomorrowland and other parts of the world, because I think that it's something that a lot of people are afraid of. Do you understand? They're afraid of the idea of a human being realizing their true potential. And I will say that again. There's a lot of beings on this planet that are afraid of a human being really finding out their true potential and becoming strong from within, and the pineal gland opening up, and them starting to become more aware of their body and understanding like what real power they have within themselves. So I will be doing other videos on this. I just watched something today that really made me think, and I said, you know, I think it's a little extreme when they go into, genders, like, call someone gender neutral. Like, you don't even call a doll, like, this is a female Barbie. You want to call it a gender neutral. I mean, it's just a little too much from my perspective. I think it's okay to call someone, this is a male and this is a female. However, if someone's born and they do not believe that they're a male or female, then it should be their complete prerogative. And I don't care if the kid is 2 years old. If they believe they're a little girl, then they deserve to be honored for what their spirit is saying to their parent. It's my opinion. Don't be hating, getting all crazy, because it's just a more evolved way of looking and saying you should have the freedom to believe whatever you want to believe and not insult someone else's intelligence for believing something that you might not find to be a fact. So what I'm trying to say is, if someone says they feel like they're a male in a female body, there should be no judgment. It should just be like, well, then I'm really sorry that there was this miscommunication when you entered this incarnated into this body. Well, let's accept you for who you are and have them enjoy their life instead of judging them and ridiculing them and making them feel bad about their choices. So I hope that I'm making sense here. And this is a little bit of a heavy situation, because when you're saying things on camera and you're putting yourself out there, you have to think about people who are watching you and might just have this nasty disposition about a subject. And in essence, it's like there's no reason to have a nasty disposition. The idea is that we all are on this planet. There should be no judgment on what sex you prefer, what sex you are, what religion you choose. That's my opinion. If you are walking the path of God and love, all of that should be just easy peasy. It should be easy for you to accept someone else's religion and say, oh, well, good for you. I'm glad that you believe in that. That's wonderful, because we're all on the same path. We all want to be loved. We all want to have prosperity and joy and emotional happiness. You only get that when you actually can accept all things around you. If not, you're going to be irritated by everything that's going on around you. I hope that makes sense. So the idea is just accept it all. And to me, I think gender neutral is a little extreme. We should just accept it. And as soon as you have someone who comes into the classroom, and maybe it's a teacher, I'm saying, and the kid says, I'm a boy, and really it's the genitals are a girl, you have to honor that. And they have to cover all that stuff in the school beforehand, so the kids don't ridicule and all this other stuff. It's called education, that they just accept it for what it is. This is a female. It doesn't matter if it has genitals of a male, it's a female. So that's it. And if you educate your children to accept this, then there should be no problem. Instead of saying a neutral, it's like as if they're in another category. Anyway, I hope I made sense here. I did speak a lot, blah, 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 blah. Everybody kind of like understands what I was trying to say. And if you have anything to say, comment, and I'll be more than happy to respond. I love everybody. I love the planet. And I'm out. Peace.
We pounce and then we bounce.
Don't forget to like Pouncey's video
And subscribe.